Okay, so today the session is all about how we can install what is like the very basic thing that I would like to tell you first is what is AWS Serverless Framework. So AWS Serverless Framework is an opportunity given to all developers, or you can say tech people who want to play around with AWS services, is that you get an opportunity wherein you can use serverless framework, meaning some YAML file to create infrastructure as a code on AWS account. You have one single YAML file in which you can create what resources you want. For example, you want Lambda functions, you want event bridges, you want SQS, you want SNS, you want XYZ, any service that you want cognitive users to be used as authentication for your application, like UI applications, or many more things that you want to use. All this can be done with a single YAML file. And if you have installed AWS CLI, for this AWS CLI, you can watch my other videos. I will put the description in the link. So if you have this AWS CLI installed on your machine, you can easily use the serverless framework to connect to your AWS account and then deploy the services whichever you want. So the very first thing that we have to do in order to install serverless framework is to install serverless framework. So let me go straight away and install the serverless framework into my account. I'm on my local machine first, and then I will explain you the next thing. So this is where you see npm I serverless. So I already installed this on my machine. So if I run this particular command, this will tell you that I already have this on my machine because I already installed it. And then we will see how we are going to use this CLI, the serverless CLI. You can use uh, sudo here, or you can give permission to a particular folder. So when you run this sudo command, it will install this serverless on your local machine. So you see the serverless is installed. So if I just clear this, now it will be more better. So serverless, AWS serverless is installed on my machine. Now I will run this particular command to create a serverless skeleton project. So I'll quickly just, okay, let me quickly copy a simple, just to save some time. I already have some demonstrated. So I just copy this and then I paste it here. What I'm doing is very pretty simple, straightforward. It will create one project, my serverless project, use this CLI, serverless CLI, and then create basic things for us. So you see, this is spinning up a new project. And then once the new project is spinned up, it will, I mean, if you refresh this particular, uh, so where we are inside this. So let me open and go into this folder, which is inside desktop, TechFlog, AWS, and then this. And then I collect this and then clicked on open and this window. So now you see this my serverless project is all created here. And now if I show you, this has created a very basic template. This is the important file, serverless.yaml. We will see in future videos this file only most of the time. Understand this particular file, what this file do, what are the different components in this particular file. I will explain every single bit of information. So in a simple terms, you can just imagine that this file can create anything you want on AWS account or for a particular user. Users, cognitive users, whatever you want. You want Lambda functions, this file is there. You can just write code here, it can spin up Lambda functions for you. Event bridges can do that. You want SQS, SNS, whatever you want, it can just simply create. You can create dynamo tables just by writing some code here. Lambda functions, of course. So for the sake of saving some time, I have some snippet of the code that I will try to place here, and I will explain you later in the part like how to. So this is my simple serverless. So just to paste it here, and then I will copy this Lambda function, which is also very simple code. Copy it here and my paste it here. In later section, later, I will try to explain videos about what Lambda function is, what are this different services, and things like that. But for now, the purpose of this video is to make you aware that how we can use AWS Serverless CLI, which is connected to your AWS account, to deploy services directly onto your AWS account. So let me straight away go to AWS account. And if I show you here Lambda functions, so there are no Lambda functions. If I show you here API gateway, so there are no APIs created. But let me quickly run this command, sudo sls deploy. But before I run this particular command, it is very important to understand that if you are using any plugin in your application, you must install that particular plugin before you do it. So for example, it's always a good idea to have your plugin installed on your machine. So you see here npm installed, that you can do. So what it will do, it will just create one package.json file into this folder, and then it will use that particular package.json file to make this serverless framework aware that there is something that you need to install before you run this. So I just run this clear, and now you see here package.json is here. You can make it rich, like meaning add more information to this package.json if you want. Log file is also there. Now I'll do simply sudo sls deploy. So this is the command which is used to deploy the things which are. So this command will read this serverless YAML, and then the AWS side, it will convert this serverless YAML into CloudFormation template, and then try to create whatever is there. So it will try to create a Lambda function. It will try to create an API gateway. And this is a very simple YAML file, but there could be a very huge file to spin up, to provision a complete complex architecture for your application. So let's run this command and then hit enter. So you see here that started creating the CloudFormation stack first. And once it create the CloudFormation stack, then it will go and create those things on your AWS account. So it will take a little bit of time, and then you know it will just I'll quickly show you how those things are visible. So just give wait for some time, and then I'll come back. Okay, so now you can see that everything is deployed. You see one URL. So if I just do a uh, curl and then copy this URL and hit this URL, you will see that the response is coming directly from. Uh, okay, so you see here, I just hit this enter, and then you see response 200. Yeah, so this is hello from Lambda. This is coming from your AWS account. I'll quickly show you how. Okay, so you see here this service is deployed, and this is the name of the stack AWS. You're already here on the API gateway. So if I click on APIs one more time, refresh the page, let's say, then you will see the API is already created. See here, dev my serverless project, and then in this serverless project there is this get API. If I go to Lambda, I click on Lambda. So you see here this Lambda function is created. You click on this Lambda function, you can invoke this Lambda function. For example, I want to test this, so I click on test. Just invoke this Lambda function. You see here this message 200 with the status code at 200, and the message is like this. So of course, you can create everything from AWS console, but just to make you aware like how the serverless framework work. So this is also very important. So now I'm explaining you very important thing. If you're playing with your free account, you just whatever you do, just try to do like SLS, sudo SLS remove, so that whatever you create is removed from your Amazon AWS account, which is important so that you do not, charge for any extra thing. So I just run this particular command. It will again read this serverless YAML file, and then it will remove everything from AWS account, whichever things which it created before for you. So it will run the command in a bit, and then we come and we'll see again onto the AWS console that do we have those services anywhere? If yes, they were there, but now they do not exist anymore. So it will remove everything. It's quite handy, isn't it? You are playing around with the infrastructure very fast. So if I refresh this page, you will see that it's gone. See, there is no function, right? Now, if I click on API gateway, so see, there are no APIs which are left. So all good. We are saved. So that is pretty much all from this video perspective. In future, we will go more deep into the complex Lambda functions, playing around with different services one by one. I'll try to cover most of the popular services which are used right now in the technology world and by different companies. So that's pretty much all. Thank you very much.